Hey guys, this is the second video that I would promise I would do. If you don't know what I'm talking about, the first video, this customer sort of recently inconvenienced me, screwed me over, whatever you want to call it, and I got stuck with these parts. But you know, I wanted to make something good out of it. A lot of people have been asking me, you know, trying to do a video on, I guess, how you build a pistol or gun up. So what we're going to do is talk about it. We're not going to actually do it because, one, realistically, guys, it'll take a long time. There's only one other way that I do it, a sort of fast way. People want me to install it on the spot, and I'll talk about that. Once again, I want to say thank you to everyone. I didn't really expect a lot of people to be, you know, well, thank you very much for being nice on the other video. I really should appreciate the support. And yeah, you know, it's sort of tough getting people, you know, it's sort of been happening a lot lately, but, you know, realistically, guys, I'm at fault for letting this happen. So, thank you guys. I really do appreciate it. Let's get to business. I'm going to try to talk much as possible about like what I do and why I do it. And remember, guys, this is always just my opinion. I'm not the master. I'm an idiot. And guys, don't you know, believe everything I say. Just the best way you guys can do it is, one, try it out yourself, do research, get multiple opinions. Literally, okay? Don't always just, my videos are not perfect, okay? Just always keep that in mind. And you'll do good in life. Always question everything. Alright? Let's get to it. Okay, we're going to take out two things. Realistically, these two I don't really consider to be necessary. They're nice, they're good upgrades. I think they're very nice for instead of for trigger tuning. But realistically, we're not here about trigger tuning. We're here about what I think is the meat and potatoes for the Hi-Capa and Holy Grail. So we'll talk about that. So we're taking these out. The picture. Now, damn bugs. All right. This right here is what I consider. Alright, sorry guys, I'm not a big fan of bugs. This is what I consider to be the meat and potatoes of the Hi-Capa. Once you're past the first stage, and the first stage for me, guys, is always, you know, you run the gun till it breaks. I see too many people blowing money on the Hi-Capa right out the box if they're new to it. And, you know, a week later they find out, hey, you know, this gun's not for me. I don't like pistols, or I don't like this gun, or, you know, everybody's got it, I don't want it. And they end up, you know, losing their money. So realistically, guys, always, if you're new to Hi-Capa world, run it till it breaks, and then put your money into it. And this is definitely where you should put your money onto first. Aluminum slide. Seriously, guys, save up money. Get some nice slides. Okay, check out A-Airsoft. Check out Proc 4. GC Shop is carrying some what do they call it? Gunsmith Bro. Airsoft Masterpiece. What's am I missing? Pro Handgun. Davison Custom, but they're not around pretty much anymore. Garters is okay, guys. Realistically though, I did a video on it, like comparing Airsoft Masterpiece or slash Gunsmith Bro back then to Garter, and I'll put the video right here. Seriously, give that a watch, and there's a lot more creativity you guys can go with this, and you're only paying a couple bucks more in reality when you're shipping it, and you're saving yourself less of a headache. And these tolerance on these guys are very, very nice. We'll cover that later. So get a nice aluminum slide. No 5KU slides, please. No cheap slides. You get what you pay for. Stay away from weed slides, aftermarket slides. They're very heavy. These are nice aluminum 6061. Very nice. All right. Second up, loading nozzles. I have like 3 favorites right now. I don't have like a favorite one. I just have 3 favorites: Garter, Shooter Design, and the Airsoft Surgeon Super Hard Loading Nozzles. There's plenty of better loading nozzles out there, but these 3 have worked out for me for a very long time. I like them. Watch out, there is a pirated version of the Garter ones, and how you know is literally it's going to break under 100 shots, and you'll know you have the fake one. Or if it breaks prematurely, you should be able to squeeze it, and it shouldn't be able to break. Well, you could be able to put it in the vice grip. There's actually a video on that, which is a very cool video. Alright, so that's my favorite loading nozzle. Well, my top 3. Recoil Spring. There's non-linear, and I'm not going to get into that. I'm trying to keep this video very basic and straightforward. The only rule I have for me is don't go above 150%. That's just overkill. it's going to decrease your gas efficiency. It takes more gas to pull the spring because it's so heavy. So I've been getting a lot of questions about these, what is it, Action 170, Angel Custom 170. They're completely unnecessary and a waste of money. Guys, these numbers don't translate to more recoil. The funny thing is, if you want more felt recoil, you actually stick with the stock spring. It's going to feel sluggish. I mean, if you get it fitted right, it's going to feel weird, but it sort of comes back and sort of this, boom, you sort of get a more of a felt recoil. But realistically, 140%, 150%, 120%, whatever it is, you need something stronger to effectively move this aluminum slide. Okay, this is the backbone of the TM Hi-Capa. I think that, you know, if you're past the first stage and you know you like the Hi-Capa, this is where your money should go first. You shouldn't. Of course, you don't listen to me to spend more of your money. I'm just trying to, you know, give advice. But it's your money, you spend that where you want. But this is the meat and potatoes, the backbone of making the TM Hi-Capa, you know, pretty reliable out of the box if you take care of it. Now, next up, just adding these two, I consider the, I guess, the holy grail. Sorry guys, this is on the spot, but the holy grail of the TM Hi-Capa, adding a tight bore and adding a nice bucking. You really get a nice FPS boost. I'm not going to get into the whole argument of what's better, 603 or 601. I don't want to hear any comments on that. It's just, that's like comparing what's better, Xbox or PS2. It's just, seriously, it's the dumbest conversation. The only thing I'm going to tell you guys straight up, I live by the facts. One, I like FPS, alright? The tighter the bore is, the tighter you're going to get FPS. That's just a straight up fact. All right, 603 versus 601. 601 gives more FPS. That's a straight up fact. And you know, how I play it, I believe, is you know, if your field's 400 FPS, try to reach 400 FPS. If your field's 350, reach 350. The only 603 I personally like is the TK Twist if I'm limited to 330. But realistically, I stick this PDI 601 and 9-ball power barrels. Those are probably two of my favorite barrels. And the TK Twist for 603. Maple Leaf has been working wonders for me for the past. I got these when, I don't know how long I've been. I've been using these a long time. I got them when they first came out, and then the Reaps. I got the Reaps first, and this. These have been really, really nice. But you need to learn how to install these. And I think I have a video on this, so probably just check that video. But this is like the holy grail of what I consider to be the of the Hi-Capa. Like, this is where you definitely should spend your money. Once again, it's your money, guys. You spend it where you want to spend. I hate when people tell me where to spend my money. So yeah, I'm being I guess a hypocrite. But we're gonna talk about now how I guess the order I go in. But realistically speaking, I don't want to. I know I told people that I was going to make a video of actually how to fit it, but I think I'm going to talk about it because I haven't really figured out what I'm going to do with this guy. So forgive me on that, but I am showing you guys, I think I'm going to show you guys important stuff. Realistically, guys, when I'm building guns, I always work on easiest to hardest. So right off the bat, the easiest thing for me to, you know, line up and make sure everything's correct is putting in that. Let's get this out of the picture. Alright. The easiest thing for me, I always get questions about this. Now, this one came from, Alpha Airsoft. So, luckily we're nice, and they actually, you know, they know pistol wear. So, they use a light, you can actually see it's already flaking off. This orange paint is very light, and I can actually just scrape it off. But I haven't been so lucky. I've ordered pistols from many different retailers, and I've had some are just, you know, pain in the butt to take off. Really thick paint, and this is what I use, guys. All right, nail polish remover. One rule that some people get a little too gung-ho and happy. What they do is they tend to pour this into a cup and they stick it in, they leave it in there. Don't do that. Put the nail polish on it like a piece of cloth and rub it gently. If you guys, you know, grip it really hard, you're actually gonna, you know, make the warp the barrel. Okay, so make sure you actually do it nicely. Put it on a piece of cloth, you know, dampen it, and just make sure you don't do it, and just rub it gently. And it should come off. All right. She said that. Alright, let's get on to the barrel. I'm not going to install it because, like I told you guys, I'm not sure what I'm doing. I got to figure out what I want to do with this. But let's just talk about important stuff. Putting in the barrel is very straightforward. You guys need to line up the grooves. I did get some questions like how do you install a hammer and stuff. Guys, I have assembly videos. So just go watch those if you don't know how to do any of this stuff. I have assembly videos, and check YouTube. I'm sure there's plenty of guys who have covered this stuff. The important thing when you're installing the bucking is you got to make sure it lines up. Okay. One thing I noticed that when I get some customer guns and it's saying, "Hey, dude, my hop-up bucking is not working" or anything, you guys, easiest way to make sure the bucking is in here: get a flathead and gently push the bucking into the groove. Some people, when they install them, it's like, it's sticking out and it's just, it's not proportionate, or they don't line up the nub. All right, the nub is like either crooked or something. So I think it's really hard to show. I'm trying to figure out the nub right here. Is it showing? Yeah. Okay. You guys see the thing I'm pushing down? That's an important thing. Always make sure that is straight, and make sure your bucking is in the groove. Okay. So that's the important thing for the barrel and the bucking. So just get that out of the way. So that's the first thing I do. It's the easiest. It's fast. Let's get this out of the picture. Okay, recoil spring. Man, if you guys don't know how to do this, I gotta drop kick you guys. This is very, very straightforward. Take out the recoil spring, open the bag, put the recoil spring on here. You're done. There is only one thing I actually do. Let's see if I have it. For you guys. Okay. I always, for customers, just put at least one kind of rubber buffer in here, just to sort of help absorb the shock. Okay. I always just put one on here. You guys can even put a steel washer on here, just like that. You guys can do that, just like that, and then you just boom, you're done. Okay. So that's only one thing I changed on the recoil guide rod. So that's the next easiest part. Let's get that out of the picture. Just the slide cuts out of here. Okay, what are we left with? Loading nozzle. Once again, very straightforward. Here is a blowback unit. You literally, and I have a video on how to take this apart. So check that video. I think it's in it's somewhere on my channel. Just type in loading nozzle assembly, or it's probably in the full breakdown. Literally, you need the TM guts, so you have to take it out of the right here. You will need to disassemble this loading nozzle and put the guts in here. That's very straightforward, and you just put it in here. And one thing I always do, since the summer is hot where I live in California, it's getting hot, I always just put lube on here before I ship it off to them, or I give it to my local friends. And that's pretty much it. That's all I do in the loading nozzle section. Oh, I forgot. I feel sorry. That's good. At least I remember, guys. There's only one mod I do on here. Is I do a light wrap of plumber tape around the bucking and the barrel. Let me get the plumber tape, guys. All right, plumber tape. Just like 1 or 2, 3 times around the end of the bucking and the barrel. But make sure you do it right, because I've seen it. People do it wrong sometimes, and it's actually affected, the whole gun. Is they did it too much. Hop-up unit wasn't closing. Make sure it's completely flush. All right, no gap in here. If you did a gap, and if there's a big gap in here, guess what? You did too much. All right, so that's one thing I do. I do hop-up mods, but those are for people who actually spend little money. I'll talk about. No, I have a video on that. All right, that's the maple leaf mod I do. All right. Now here's the moment I think everyone's been waiting for. Alright, we're going to talk about the various methods there are to doing it, and what I don't like and I like. Now this isn't to attack anyone out there, whatever. It's just, this is how I like it. These are my views on them. There's 2 methods I really don't like. The first method I don't like, and I see it happen all the time when people send it to me. And their first complaint is, hey, it's too loose, man. And the first thing I notice is I'll look at the rails, and You get people doing this. Now I know there are masters at doing hand filing, but realistically, guys, I think those guys are far and few, and they're probably in the real steel world, where I learned a lot of my fitting from. And those guys have been working for generations, I think, on 1911s, right? Big name guys. But problem with, for me, hand filing, guys, if you're not an expert and you don't know what you're doing, and if you're not using some mechanical blue dye, what the mechanical dye, guys, does is what you can put it on the rails, and you guys can rack the slide, and you can see where it's hitting, you know, the frame big time. It's what they use in basically, guys, for when you go to the dentist and you get what do you call it, crowns? Is it crowns? And you know, you bite on that blue thing, and you can see where the marks are, and then they polish it, grind it off. Basically, that's what you can put on here, and you can file it. But realistically, I'm not a big fan of that, because guess what? If you take off too much, you realistically can't add that back. That's just how I've always trained my thought of mind. Just never take off too much. Always try to take little as possible, because once you take it off, it's gone unless you do a shim or you have an extra frame. So, not a big fan of files. I stay away from that unless it's like, you know, really really obvious, and this happens sometimes. All right, so that's one thing I really don't like. But if you're a master, if you know you're good at it, guess what? More power to you. Second thing I don't like are Dremels. I think they're a shortcut. I think they're shortcuts like files too. But like I said, guys, I know there's people that know how to work them. I myself, I love the Dremel. I know how to work it very well. I try not to use it because it's sort of like a shortcut. Once again, it's going high speed, and if you just, you know, make a small mistake, guess what? You're taking out a good chunk of the frame. Now, the only thing I really realistically use the Dremel for is to actually sometimes polish it. Not polish it to like the extreme where actually, you know, you guys, when you polish, if you do too much polish, you actually round it off. But the only time I actually use it is when the paint is so thick, or if the paint doesn't want to come off. I can use these just to strip off the paint really quick and get to shining the rails if that's needed. So Dremel, if you're good at it, more power to you, right? Seriously, it's a great invention, no doubt. I love the Dremel, but I try to stay away from it. Now, here's what I do. There's really two things I do. Get out of your fly. Okay, sorry guys. There's two things I do. One, I sort of go to my local field, HSB, and you know, it's my second home. I really love it. And some people will buy slides on the spot. So they'll say, "Hey, dude, you know, I want to play with it today." And that happens a lot. So I had to find a quick way to sort of fit it on the spot, and that's when I started. I used Tri-Flow. I think some people use WD-40, and what it does is it sort of softens the rails. And you'll see right now, I'm going to show you. But we're just going to talk about it because I haven't figured out what I want to do with this gun yet. I don't know if I need any more bases or not. I decided I'm going to build up the salient. But you're going to see right now. And this is good. I had some people complain, hey, it doesn't fit. But this is nice. I know people are looking at me like, hey, what the hell, this is horrible. But this is nice. This is the kind of tight you want. And it sounds brutal, but you literally put the Tri-Flow on here. And yeah, I do it naked. Everything's naked. For the Tri-Flow, I don't really disassemble the lower. It doesn't bother me too much. I try to keep it on the rails. But realistically, you don't want the stuff trying to creep it in here. But, you know, when these guys pressure me, hey, finish, 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 this is what I do. I don't want to do it. I'm going to do this one the proper way. But realistically, you put the Tri-Flow on here, on the rails. You let it sit for a minute, just one. And I'm not kidding you. You just literally, you just tap it, and it'll go over, and you just hand rack it. And it probably takes at least 10-15 minutes. And it's pretty much done in terms of fitting, and it does actually a pretty good job of making it feel smooth. Now, for me and my picky fans, I got a good amount of picky fans, and we're on the same page. I'm picky, and picky fans, we get along. Now this process I do for picky fans. You know, most of us we're pistol nuts. These are our primaries, or they do competition. I've done what I learned in real steel. I love the 1911. This is what I learned. This is what I use pretty much. The only thing I'm missing for the picture right now is what am I missing? Board bright and 600 grit. This is lapping compound, guys. Realistically, in the real steel world, there's actually two ways they sort of tell you. People will complain, "Hey, my 1911, I just bought a." Let's just say, for an example, Rock Army, and it's rough or whatever. People will generally say, "I'm not even kidding you. Just shoot 1,000 rounds, shoot 500 rounds, shoot 1,500 rounds, and that will break in and it'll make a very nice, smooth finish." That's literally sometimes what I tell people. It's literally one of the best ways because human error is not involved. It's literally the slide, propane magazine, and you just shooting a bunch of times, and eventually it's going to create those nice, smooth pattern. And that's what I really, really like doing. Second one is when I just, nobody wants to shoot 1,000. I mean, I don't blame anyone. But this is what I do. I'll show you guys what it looks like. It takes a long time. It's painstakingly boring. But I like it. To me, it provides the best results for me and for being picky. But this is 800 grit. I have 600 grit. The only rule I have for this, guys, is when you do this kind of stuff, and this is sort of expensive. This is 30. I can't remember how much this is. For these two, I do a 50-50 mix. This is my little mixing cup. This is what this looks like. I don't know if you guys can see that. It's like brown stuff. And this is just CLP. It's like a lubricant, basically, guys. Now, the only rules is you really have to disassemble the gun 110%. It's got to be naked, and the slide's got to be naked. You can't have anything in it. You definitely don't want this stuff in the hammer assembly getting action. Now, I'll show you guys quick what it looks like. I have Q-tips right here. Let's just get a little dab. Alright, and you literally spread this all along. Now, since this is a fresh Team Hi-Capa, I start off with the 600. Alright, and sometimes I'll use the JB and the CLP to help out. But you literally, I'm not kidding you, put this on and you just sit in front of watch a movie on Netflix or something and you just hand rack it. But you try to make sure you're putting even pressure when you're hand racking, okay? It's very important that you don't, like manhandle it, grip it, and when you grip it too much, some people I will see they'll rack it and they're putting like downwards right pressure on it. Stupid fly. Downward right pressure on it, and you'll get a little. It's not going to kill you because this is 800 and 600. They're both very, very fine. So, guys, I guess that's the magic on how I do the slide fitting for the picky people. This I charge more for. It's just it takes so long, but it gets a nice finish like this. A fit like I just finished fitting this. I actually didn't ask my friend. I apologized, but I'm pretty sure we're good friends, so he'll let me use his thing for it. And he's actually got a new blowback unit, so I have to refit it. Now, for me, what I consider to be a good fit is one, tight tolerance. The problem is, that's why I'm not a big fan of Dremel or hand file. If you're not a master at it, you tend to lose that tight tolerance. You see how tight this is, guys? I like keeping that tight tolerance. The next thing is that when you pull it, this is completely 100% dry. The only thing I should be able to hear is just the slide in the frame and the recoil spring crunching. You guys hear that crunching at the end? Crunch, crunch, right there. I'm not sure if you guys can pick it up. I'll be quiet. Okay? Alright, back to focus. This is what I consider to be, for me, this is, I guess I'd call it picky slide fitting, but that's just how I love it. So I hope this helps someone out. It's a bad thing, but at the same time, I think it's a good thing because I finally did a video on it. I know a lot of people have been asking for trigger tuning. Guys, I'm sorry. I can't do that. I think if anyone, there's actually I need to actually get this stuff off. I think Lazouche has a video on it, or you guys should be able to find it on forum. I just don't. I'm not going to be responsible for people ruining their guns. And when it comes to trigger tuning, oh boy, it's that's another whole world. You have to be very careful. If you don't know what you're doing, you get disqualified from competition for full auto burst kind of problems. You can just ruin guns with the trigger tuning. The most basic stuff I can tell you guys. This is Project UAC. You can buy the leaf spring at e-bike. When you buy the leaf spring, literally don't touch it, don't mess with it. Just open it and drop it in, and you should feel a big difference compared to stock spring. The only thing that will happen is after maybe about 10,000 rounds or less, it's going to go full auto. You're going to need to adjust the far right spring downwards. As for triggers, you guys can always get adjustable. I had it somewhere. This is an adjustable trigger. You guys can adjust that, and that's like the basics of trigger tuning. That's something that anyone can do, because you can just buy the UAC leaf spring and an adjustable trigger, and you know what, you got the basics. But the in-depth stuff I won't cover. I'm sorry, guys. If you guys have tech friends who are willing to teach you guys, ask them. I just don't bother me about that. I don't want anyone's broken gun my fault. I get enough questions about that kind of stuff. Okay. I think I covered everything. JB, CLP, and a board bright. I don't know what my board bright is. It's the same kind of stuff. I do 50-50. It works pretty much the same way, these guys. It's all about, how do I explain it? I'm trying to make it simple. It's like putting sand on these rails, and you know that motion, it embeds in the rail, and it creates like a nice smooth polished finish. I guess that's the simplest way I can try to explain it. But I really hope this has helped someone. This recap on what I think is the holy grail of TM Hi-Capas. I will stand by it. I think it is the best airsoft pistol on the market. I don't think any other pistol comes near it, and never will. Unless the Glocks get more parts. Yes, more Glock parts. If you're watching, if you're a big company airsoft company, more Glock parts, especially hammer assembly. Alright, back on track. Aluminum slide. Save your money, get a nice slide. Airsoft, Prog 4. Those two guys are pretty much where I go for nice slides, and they have a lot of cool option, guys. Watch that video I talked about earlier where I put the video thing. You'll see that Garter has nothing on these guys. Alright? They have nothing. And it's very easy. You don't have to break the blowback unit leg. I'll show you guys right now. Brand new slide. Brand new TM. Oh, is this one? Oh, damn it. This one got broken off. Damn it. Nice. I'll show you guys. Okay, you know on the Garter ones how you have to put it in and then move it backwards? You don't have to do that here. Alright guys, it's a drop in, and you don't have to actually break off this leg. Alright. So, nice quality slide. Bucking parallel last. Enhanced loading nozzle. If it's enhanced, go for it. My top three are Garter, Shooter Design, and what was the third one? Airsoft Surgeon Super Hard Loading Nozzle. Those have lasted me quite a while. They're pretty durable, and that's what I care about. Durability. That's number one for me, especially when you shoot your pistol a lot. And they're gonna work in better certain configurations, but that's another whole video. I don't know if I'll do that yet. And then a stronger recoil spring. All right, you definitely need a stronger recoil spring to push this aluminum slide. Don't go over 150. 150 is literally all you need, guys. Remember, 170 does not mean more recoil. It means more gas to pull the slide, and it's going to do more damage, especially if you run the hammer spring in there. Oh, that's from one. It's a good thing that I talked about. I always leave the hammer spring out unless the customer asks to, or if they live in a hot area and their mags tend to get really hot, then you're probably going to need to put in the stronger hammer spring. So, yeah, that's on that. So, stronger hammer spring. And then finally, if you're like, damn, I really love this Hi-Capa, I want some more FPS and accuracy, you know, that's your CQB player, go for a Type Or 601, 600. And if you use heavy BBs, I love Maple Leaf. Heavy BBs meaning 2830 minimum and up. If you use 2.5s and you don't want a 601 or 600, I mean 600, and you want that 9-ball 603, that's a good barrel. Very, you know, pretty well known. TK Twist is a great barrel. For those combinations, I tend to use PDI W hold bucking and Firefly soft. Those two I use for anything that's sort of low FPS. But realistically, I'm using 2.8s, 30s minimum for probably a long time now. Trust me, use those BBs in your Hi-Capa, especially if you're running Type O. You will see a big difference. I think I covered everything. I'm sorry I didn't fit it on screen, but realistically, guys, I take hours. I don't take shortcuts. I try not to. The only times I take shortcut realistically are when I'm at the fields and I have to do on the spot, and I use Triflow for that to soften the metal. And the stuff actually works pretty well. It makes it pretty smooth on the spot. You'd be surprised by this. Some people use WD-40. I've seen. If you use WD-40, I'm not a big fan of it. Make sure you don't get the WD-40 anywhere where there's plastic. Okay, don't get it in the upper. Especially, do not get it in the upper. Make sure your upper is naked. It will eat your O-ring. Okay, on your piston, and it will damage anything that's pretty plastic, pretty much. Oh, okay, all right. I don't want to get an argument. Okay, just be safe with it, all right? Guys, once again, thank you so much for being nice. I really appreciate it. Thanks to those who tried to offer me money in PayPal. Thank you. I really appreciate it. Don't do that. All right, you guys take it easy. Have a good day.